All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Wakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone who teach and rule well. And salutations to the Akim out there laboring of the hopeful elect that's doing this work in truth and sincerity. And at the times that we're coming in, you're seeing now where this whole pretty much this woke agenda that's been pretty much been in the top curriculum of these schools, pretty much in these high schools and colleges, and you're seeing now where the people have been pretty much sensitized to pretty much being offended easily. Pretty much people have to walk on eggshells, and this whole thing about the bullying thing, they have a big awareness of that, and pretty much the generation now that are pretty much military age, mostly these students are pretty much are anti-war. You see them pretty much on the front lines protesting, against the war that's going on, and pretty much even though a lot of them are pretty much bought and paid for and pretty much organized by the elites, you're seeing now where it's pretty much backfiring now, and where the patriots of this country are pretty much saying no thank you to pretty much joining the military. And I have an article here from RT News, and it says, let's get into this article, and it says why the U.S. can't find enough troops to feed its imperial ambitions. And pretty much, man, the title says it all. Pretty much people know that it's not, they come into the realization, that this is not about democracy anymore. You're seeing that is pretty much an imperial, ambition, that this country has. That the cost of life is secondary to pretty much gaining resources and riches from the world. So it says here, the American military is facing a drop in recruitment and risks getting spread too thin in its drive to dominate the globe. You see? And, they pretty much are saying it straight, because at the end of the day, that's what it is. With this whole, pretty much exposure to social media, the plans are pretty much being called out. This place is being called out on a lot of the atrocities that's pretty much going on throughout the world. And we're seeing, the other side, so to speak, the other voice. It's not no more of a one-sided voice where, people pretty much look at the mainstream media and and take that as gold, and run with that. But pretty much now, you're seeing images and pretty much voices of people, throughout the world that are crying foul of the things that are going on. So it says here, Ahmed hopes that the 2024 U.S. National Defense Authorization Act would lead to an uptick in troop strength. Just the opposite has occurred, as military brass fear that messages a shrunken force will send to American enemies. And pretty much during this NDAA, they pretty much gave the military big raise, and the agenda pretty much was to beef up the military. All right, so we're going to continue to read it, and it says, not since before World War II has the U.S. Fielded such a small military force. Not since World War II has the U.S. military been spread so thin around the world. Personnel slashes to the U.S. Army have been the deepest. The national defense budget must be satisfied with a force of just 445,000 active duty soldiers, down more than 40,000 in 3 years. Meanwhile, the Marine Corps is set to shed 8,900 active duty service members from its fiscal 2021, a 4.9 reduction, while the Air Force is prepared for a loss of 13,475 airmen, a 4% drop. Finally, the Navy is scheduled to have 10,000 fewer sailors, down 2.9%. And all across the board here, all of these military branches are pretty much declining as far as with its members. You know, okay. So we continue to read. It says, all told, the total number of active duty soldiers in armed forces will decrease by 1.2 million in fiscal 2024. That's a decline of almost 64,000 troops in the last 3 years, and the smallest total for America's military since 1940. For perspective, America's top perceived adversaries, Russia and China, have 1.5 million and 2.35 million active duty troops, respectively. You see, and you see in the daunting tax that this place has, man, of pretty much stacking up against the world powers. You see, we're seeing that big decline. And the people are pretty much are reluctant to join the military these days, man. And pretty much, man, these younger generations are not built in a certain way of the men of old. This is the smallest number of troops that are enlisted since 1940. You see, all right, but it says such a particular drop in troop strength presents major challenges for any country, but especially for one with serious imperial ambitions. The problem with recruitment does not seem to be caused by a lack of funds. The defense policy bill passed last month provides a jaw-dropping $886 billion for defense programs, which includes a 5.2% boost in salaries for service members, its largest increase in 20 years. Now, they're automatically going to give the troops and really that's an enticing bait for a lot of people that are simple and want to just join the military for money. You see, a 5.2% increase in salary. So now pretty much, people are knowing that the war is in the air, and it's not like the days of old where pretty much you can go ahead and you had many people join the military and pretty much had their whole career. People that made the military their career, where they had really no war. You see, okay, if you joined the military between certain years, you really wasn't in active duty. I mean, you were pretty much active though, but you didn't have to really engage in any type of war. You see, okay, when you want to talk about the war in Iraq, pretty much that was a child's play, man. It was not no real opposition really being faced. You see. And pretty much at that point in time, you really had the U.S. Air Force that was pretty much doing all of the dirty work, you see? But it says, despite the promise of more money, the recruitment prospects for the immediate future look bleak, to the point that lawmakers and military leaders have floated the idea of allowing illegal immigrants, which are often proposed to have terrorists and gang members among their ranks, to serve as a stopgap solution to the problem. And then pretty much, that's pretty much, that will probably be the last ditch effort for that. But again, what is the loyalty of these people to this country? You see? Okay, people, they're always throwing around these ideas, and then you have the left pretty much thinking that this is going to be new people added to their voting block. But the fact of the matter is that these migrants are at a disadvantage coming here. So why would they want to vote for the powers that be in office at the present time, where they're really coming here and being deceived by America and really understanding now that this is nothing but a hellhole, man. The conditions that are here now, that are seeing how it's being deteriorated, is pretty much no different from the country that they pretty much are fleeing from, man. Okay, you see. The days of old where, they would pretty much flee from these third world countries to come to America to make a better living for themselves and pretty much, be able to, get a job and send money back home to bring their family. Them days are over with now, man. You see? Okay? The people are not even getting any type of footing within the society, man, to even make money. Okay? So it's a daunting task for them to really do this, man. All right? But I want to jump up a little bit down in the article. Um, it says pretty much right here, it says the democratic solution to the problem conveniently ignores the question, what happened to the recruiting pool inside the US in the first place? Why are so many young men and women decided to shun the life of a professional soldier compared to previous times? Does it have anything to do with the fact that the confidence of the US military has plunged to its lowest levels in 2 decades? Have young men and women come around to the conclusion that the true nature of the US military is not to defend the homeland from the would-be attackers, but rather dominate the entire globe with the imperialistic mindset? And people are pretty much waking up to the agenda of why war is being engaged. You see, it's pretty much for the purpose of gaining resources for the elites, man. You know, okay, and at a time where America was pretty much in its heyday, that was pretty much a career. You would just go into the serve and pretty much be a career soldier man, and then you would retire with benefits. You see, but now they're seeing now the veterans now are not even being treated fairly. You see, a lot of veterans are homeless on the street. You know, and regardless of them, they may have their vice or drug abuse or what have you, but the fact remains that they're not even in a good case, man. They haven't really got the mental medicine, so to speak, as far as counseling is concerned. A lot of these veterans that are pretty much homeless, pretty much they're not right in their mind, man. They've seen a lot of death and bloodshed, man. And they pretty much have, haven't got over, to be able to switch over to a civilian lifestyle, man. It was never a smooth transition for them. You see? All right? But it says here, then there are questions about the mental and physical health of America's youth. Okay? And there's another thing, man. Not only you have, and people are seeing it on the street, when you're really seeing, the mental and health issues of the veterans. Now you're seeing it with the youth. Okay? The youth, the diet is a poor diet, but it gets into it. It says, pretty much going into the mental and physical health of America's youth. It says it has plagued as they are with alarming rates of obesity, drug use, and mental health issues. These problems are systematic of a nation that is experiencing the unraveling of its entire social fabric. You see? And all of these things that were pretty much used to against the people, unhealthy food, pretty much allowing certain chemicals in these foods that are pretty much banned in every other place, and pretty much the influx of drugs, so now after you're doing all that, now you basically want to use these same people that you're trying to destroy to go fight your battles, man. You see? Okay? And the scriptures speak about the men of Teman, man, have pretty much lost their wits, so to speak, man. All right? They're not thinking all right, man. They're pretty much, their counsel is pretty much bringing them down, man. You see? Okay? Everything is really, the chickens are pretty much coming home to roost at this point now. You see? Okay? But it says, but that's pretty much it right there. There's a whole bunch of other things that I wanted to get into. I didn't want to make this too long, but I want to get a couple of scriptures real quick. This is Jeremiah. Let's see, 51 verse. Let's see. Uh, let's see. Slack it real quick. Um, let's start at all right. Let's start at basically this is Jeremiah 51 and 27. Raise, and this is in the New Living Translation. Raise a signal flag to the nations. Sound the battle cry. Mobilize them all against Babylon. Prepare them to fight against her. Bring out the armies of Ararat, Mini, and Ashkenaz. Appoint a commander and bring a multitude of horses like swarming locusts. And pretty much, man, these nations are going to align themselves against this place, man. And pretty much you got Russia, you got Turkey, pretty much now, which is now a turncoat from NATO. Okay, they're gonna come up against Babylon, man. You see, all right, and all the other host of countries, man. You see, and it says, verse 28, bring against her the armies of the nations, led by the kings of the Medes, which is the Russians, and all their captains and officers. The earth trembles and writheth in pain, for everything the Lord has planned against Babylon stands unchanged. Babylon will be left desolate without a single inhabitant. You see? Okay, and this is what's coming. Okay? So it says, her mightiest warriors no longer fight. They stay in their barracks. Their courage is gone. They have become like women. The invaders have burnt the houses and broken down the city gates. The news, verse 31, the news is passed from one runner to the next as messengers hurry to tell the king that his city is being captured. It's pretty much you basically running from one post to the other, and these are men that were born to fight, man. The scriptures speak about that, man, when you read it in the KJV, and they shall be like unto women. You see? Okay, these people that are in the military, they're not built like that, man. Okay? And if they do a pretty much a drafting recruitment, right now they're just doing a aggressive recruitment right now, and later, it could be the draft, but what quality of soldiers will you be getting, through the draft? You see? The moral fiber of this place is pretty much destroyed, man. You see? Okay? These people are not in the mindset of war, man. These military age people, man. Their minds are foul. They pretty much are drug induced demons, man. Okay, you see, these people pretty much are popping pills and smoking weed, and pretty much, man, social media has warped their minds as well, man. Okay, these people can't even stay focused for any dispensation of time, man. Okay, they have a very short attention span, and that's one thing that you need to do is in the military is stay focused, man. Okay, focus is the key, man, to pretty much keep yourself alive, But we already know that any troops that they're gonna send over there, they pretty much are not gonna return. Okay, all right, their return is gonna be vain. You see. And it says, verse 32, all the escape routes are blocked. The marshes have been set aflame. The army is in panic. This is what the Lord of Heaven's armies, the power of Israel, says. Babylon is like a wheat on a threshing floor, about to be trampled. Just a little while and her harvest will begin, and this is all the counsel of the Lord at the end of the day. We understand, this place is on the demise, man. Okay, and this is just one instance where you see now, the basically the troops are pretty much not up to par. You see, they pretty much are spread thin throughout the world. They're battle wearied, you see, and the passion is pretty much not there, you know. Okay, the last wave of troops that they really had was that compelled a lot of people pretty much to join the army in the first place was basically when you had 9/11. You see, a lot of people that was young at that age pretty much grew up and wanted to pretty much, uh, you know, join the army. You see, now there's something that's going to be coming down a pipeline to pretty much bring people back to being patriots. It remains to be seen. You know, but you pretty much have these Edomite patriots, man, that are reluctant to join, man. And I think that goes into that in that article. You know, they pretty much know what time it is, man. Okay, these people are more of interested in defending for their own families, man, and their own households, man. You know, because they understand what's coming, man. They understand that pretty much draconian laws is coming down the pipeline, and pretty much the powers that be is going to be against them. So the people are pretty much reluctant to join these armies, man. So this place Babylon pretty much is going to have to just deal with the cards that they've been dealt, man. And this is all from their own doing, man. This is how they pretty much dumb down the society. Okay, they basically demasculinize the man. You see, and these are not real men that are pretty much out here, man. Okay, they're not real men. You see, they don't have the integrity and the fortitude to be able to muster what's gonna come up against them, man. You see. Okay, so you're seeing this place, man, and it's pretty much, man, and we're seeing now where this country pretty much is not, it's gotten weaker, man, since World War II. You see, okay, people when they look at the Korean War and they look at the Vietnam War, when you people step back and look at that war and look at the outcome of it, man, they pretty much would say that, hey, this country pretty much took an L. You see, they pretty much took an L, because even when you had that war, even when you talk about the Korean War and the Vietnam War, still half the country is still under the so-called communist rule. You see, okay, so pretty much, you can't even call it a standoff or a tie, pretty much, okay, it pretty much was chalked up as an L. Because a lot of lives were lost, man. And a lot of lives will be taken in this time to come now. And chiefly because why? Because Yahushua is going to make his return, man. All right, and pretty much when the Lord appears in that valley of Jehoshaphat, because his determination is pretty much to gather the nations. But I'm gonna get our second Esdras, chapter 13, verse 5. And this is pretty much when the Lord pretty much makes his appearance. Okay? And it says, and after this, I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of heaven to subdue the man that came out of the sea. And that's speaking about Yahushua. Yahushua is pretty much going to make his return. Okay? And he's going to judge the nations in the valley of Jehoshaphat. So those are these multitude of men that are from the four winds of heaven. Okay, so now they're gonna pretty much try to subdue the Lord, man. Okay, right in the middle of the battle, it says, but I beheld, and lo, he had graven himself a great mountain and flew up upon it. But I would have seen the region or place whereout the hill was graven, but I could not. And it's pretty much talking about that great chariot, man. The chariot was so big that Esdras seen, it was like a mountain, and he was thinking that he was looking where it would be carved out of any mountain range, and he couldn't see it. You see, so this is how big this chariot is going to be. You see, and it says, and after this, I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to do him were so afraid, and yet durst to fight. And pretty much though, fear is going to be upon these men But what? The Lord's going to put the Spirit upon them to pretty much give it their best shot anyway. You see? Okay? And it says, verse 9, and lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand, nor held sword, nor any instrument of war. And the Lord said that he's going to meet thee as he's not going to meet thee as a man. Okay? You see? All right? So the Lord's not going to come back with no instrument of war, so to speak. Okay? It says, but only I saw that he sent out of his mouth that it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he had cast out sparks and tempests. And it's pretty much that high concentrated fire, pretty much laser beams, man. Okay? Coming out of the chariot. That's pretty much what Ezra's seen. And Ezra is pretty much sick behind this vision. You see? And it says, verse 11, and they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude which was prepared to fight, and burned them up, every one, so that upon a sudden of an innumerable multitude, nothing was to be perceived, but only dust and smell of smoke. When I saw it, I was sore afraid. And this is that great vision that Ezra's seen. And this is what's coming, man. Okay, this is what's gonna be in store for the men. Okay, that are gonna be over there, pretty much in that Valley of Jehoshaphat, man, fighting. You see, so anybody that was pretty much reluctant to join the military, you're just gonna wait for the missiles to come here to destroy you, man. Okay, there's gonna be no need to go over there to fight. But pretty much the men that are gonna be going over there are pretty much they're doomed, man. Okay, so this right now is basically a lose-lose situation, man. And this is the case of the chickens coming home to roost at the end of the day. All right, so with that, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakakwadash, Shalom.